This DFS edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. Good morning/afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford. I'm coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast corner of England. And as I stated in the intro, we're firing out a little DFS edition today. We've got full lineups for the late slate of games, which is the Guardians, Yankees, and the Dodgers, Padres. And I think Noah's going to chuck out a few early picks as well for anyone who gets to this show before the earlier games kick off. Today, what day are we on today? October the 11th, yeah. And it's the same day pod, very rare. So these are the games that are going off. Game one in the divisional series on October the 11th. And as I alluded to, my co-host is Mr. Noah Bennick. Noah, what's happening?
How's it going, Malcolm? Very excited for these podcasts. These are like back to my bread and butter. I love playing DFS, and I'm just like a total nerd for fantasy in general. So baseball tends to be more random than many other sports, and that's kind of what makes it fun. And cheap plays can get really interesting. And want to get this one over and quick. And we're going to focus on mainly the late slate. I do have a full slate lineup that I really like, and I'll just sprinkle in the names as we go along. But I'm ready for this, Malcolm.
Yeah, it's a very rare. We were just saying that we're both in the daylight. It's nice and early for you over there in the States. It's about tea time for me here. It's about 4:45 in the afternoon, but we're both sitting. I'm not going to say bathed in sunlight, but we're both in the daylight anyway. So
yeah, I've got my morning drink here. Like honestly, my local coffee shop that I like to go to doesn't open until 11 o'clock in the morning now because they don't have enough staffers. It's like, what coffee shop isn't going to open until 11 a.m.? That's so weird.
Yeah, that would be really disappointing. That would be. So yeah, the late slate. I know you were saying about DFS. I love playing DFS. I play just about every night. But obviously, normally you've got a sort of a 10-game card at least to pick from. So tonight we've got a 2-game card, which is that's a challenge in itself. It's kind of a different animal when you're only picking. It's almost like Showdown Captain mode, but just ever so slightly expanded. You got 4 teams to pick from rather than 2. But yeah, it's a skill in itself being able to break down these 4-game slates because you've got your start. It's almost stars and scrubs. I think you don't really leave yourself with a choice, but we'll bomb through them. Our headline sponsor here is WynnBET. We gave out a load of picks yesterday for these divisional series, so WynnBET is the place to get all the lines for those that we gave out. If you bet $100, you'll get a $100 free bet there. The WynnBET Casino is open 24 hours a day, and you get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. And the WynnBET Biggest Winners Club, get the biggest parlay of the weekend. Last week, someone turned $6 into $4,000, and you'll get a $1,000 free bet. So DGens only. Over there, get your free $1,000 bet. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet. Offer subject to change. T's and C's at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older. Present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you were someone who knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Okay, let's fire into this one. Well, the 2 games, the Cleveland Guardians go to the New York Yankees, 12:37 Eastern Time. And the San Diego Padres go to the LA Dodgers at 2:37 Eastern Time. So, sorry, they're my time. So that's 12:37 in the morning. 12:37 British time. What time's that Eastern Time? I don't know.
It's 7:37 Eastern Time, 9:37 Eastern Time.
All right, okay. So yeah, 2:37 a.m. over here for me. If there's any British people who get there, that's what time they're going on. So we'll start with both SPs because I think you have to take both SPs in tandem, Noah. So lead us off with your starting pitchers.
Yeah, so for the late slate, like I mentioned, I do have a full slate that I also love. I'm playing Cal Quantrill and Justin Verlander in that. Quantrill's a guy that I like that's a little bit cheaper that I think could go deep into the game, like 6 innings, and I consider that deep for postseason baseball. And I expect Verlander to go out there and deal against Seattle like he's done almost all year. But as we've mentioned with the 2 late games that we're just going to focus on here because we're getting this out, we're recording it in the middle of the day, hour and a half from first pitch in Philly, Atlanta. You kind of have to play it stars and scrubs, like Malcolm said. So I'm going with Garrett Cole at 9.7K. Is that who you also have rostered there?
Yes.
Okay, so I have him 13.2 innings pitched, a 1.36 ERA, and 15 strikeouts in 2 games against Cleveland.
Yeah, I've got Garrett Cole. When I went stars and scrubs, I kind of went both star pitchers because the only scrub pitcher on the board, and I'm only using the term scrub in terms of
I wouldn't either.
How we're branching that is Mike Clevenger. And we talked on the pod last night. Everyone was against Mike Clevenger. So I don't want to roster him. I didn't really want to roster Quantrill. So what you want here is when you're picking the pitchers, you want to get wins on the board, and that's always hard. To pick up a win, even you'll know if you're a fantasy player, wins are like hen's teeth, but wins and strikeouts. So I took the 2 premium pitchers here, 9,700 for Garrett Cole and 8,700 for Julio Urias. Fantasy points per game, they're both way ahead of the other 2 pitchers, Quantrill and Clevenger, and that just means I'll have to cut my cloth later on and get a little bit creative further down the lineup, Noah.
Exactly. And Julio Urias is my other pitcher. He has 24 innings pitched against the San Diego Padres team with a 1.50 ERA and 18 strikeouts. So I'm just going to go ahead and play in this.
Might be a lot of that tonight because there's not an awful lot to choose from. We haven't actually discussed these lineups at all. I mean, it's entirely possible we could end up with a really similar lineup. I know Kramer had that one a couple of weeks ago where the only difference in players in his NFL lineup was the Giants defense over the Cowboys defense, and that was the difference between $1 million and $25. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many names we've got because we both started with the top 2 pitchers. What have we spent? $18,400 there, leaving us, like I say, we're going to have to a little bit creative further down. So catcher next up. I'll let you lead us off again. Go on, what you got?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite picks on the slate entirely. I have them for my full and for my night slate teams. And I need pieces of this Dodgers lineup. I think that they're going to attack Clevenger early and often and get into this Padres bullpen and have some success all game long. And they have the highest team total of the day at 4.5 minus 105. And the game total is 7.5, which is also the largest total at minus 105 for the day. So I'm going with Will Smith because he's 4 for 8 with 2 singles and 2 home runs against Mike Clevenger in his career.
So Will Smith was at a price of $5,000. Yes. We must have different lineups then here because you've spent up. He was the highest price catcher on the board by as far as a farm boy can throw an apple. Next up was Austin Barnes, also the Dodgers at 2,800. So he's nearly double the price here. So I occasionally, in fact, more often than not, I will punt catcher in DFS, unless every now and again I might throw an Adley Rushman in. You can throw JT Realmuto in every now and again. But apart from that, you're just trying to find the cheapest bloke you can find. I went right down the board here and I've put in Austin Hedges of Cleveland, saving money, purely an absolute punt this was. He was $2,100. The other option, if the lineup's different, is Luke Mailey. And actually, I wouldn't mind. I would maybe prefer to start Luke Mailey, $2,000. So not much in it. But yeah, that was a punt of catcher for me. So moving on to first base, that leaves me with a few more quid than you. So you must have got creative in other places. So who's your first baseman, Noah?
So my first baseman, again, I love this little punt play in the full slate. I have Carlos Santana at 2.5. He's nursing a hamstring, so I think he's going to be very low owned. But if he does get into the starting lineup tonight, he is 19 for 84 against Verlander, which is 226. But he has the most playoff experience on the Seattle team, And he even hit that 3-run bomb against Toronto. Would have been a grand slam if somebody didn't score on a pass ball. 9 of his 19 hits against Verlander are tanks. But
No,
for
nice.
for this late night slate, I'm going with Josh Naylor at 3.6K. He's hitting 333, 4 for 12 with a single, a double, and 2 home runs against Garrett Cole in his career. I think if there's one bat that has success against Cole for this Guardians lineup, that I think Insano has established it in our chat already. They are the worst offense of the 4 teams tonight. I think if there's one play that's live against Cole, I think it's Josh Naylor. So.
And yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive to take on your own pitchers when we've got Garrett Cole. But in a 4-team slate, you have to on occasion, and there's nothing stopping them hitting dingers later on when Cole's being pulled. My first baseman here is Josh Naylor of the Cleveland Guardians. $3,600. And basically, I looked at the other first baseman, and there's a lot of money to be spent here if you want. You've got Freddie Freeman. 5,600, then Rizzo, Brandon Drury, if you want. I will say
none of their
stats blew my skirt up particularly. I was just, I was waiting to be blown away by one of them, and I just wasn't. So on the grounds there wasn't many alternatives. I was happy to save some money again. I think Josh Naylor's only 1 for 9 off Garrett Cole. But that was a home run. So, yeah, this was, again, a money-saving exercise.
4 for 12 I got. 4 for
you got 4 for 12?
Yeah, 4 for 12 with a single, double, and 2 home runs.
Okay, I'm right. Okay, I'm miles away. Anyway, so, yeah, Josh Naylor, $3,600. Moving on, Noah, to your second baseman.
Yeah, back to the cheap. I'm playing a cheap Dodger, and it's Gavin Lux at second base, 3.4K. I loved Jose Altuve as one of my top bats in the full slate at 5.3. He's 8 for 19, batting 421 against Logan Gilbert with 2 singles, 5 doubles, and a home run. But Gavin Lux, he's only had 2 at-bats against Mike Clevenger. He's 1 for 2 with a single. This is really just one of my cheaper plays that I'm trying to take advantage of being in the Dodgers lineup that I assume is going to have some success early on. So Gavin Lux is a not very confident second base play for me.
Yeah, well, you need a stack. Obviously, I think Dodgers, you said, expected to be the highest total. So if you can get a cheap Dodger in there, why not? My second baseman, Noah, is Gavin Lux of the LA Dodgers at $3,400. He had a poor September, but he's been decent overall. Before that, I looked at Chris Taylor.
Yeah, me too.
Chris Taylor is an option. We can pivot to Chris Taylor. He's day to day at the moment. He's had something wrong with his neck. I think he had a little injection in his neck. And Chris Taylor does a little bit of he's your classic bits and bobs man, as Chris Taylor. And he can steal a bag, which in DFS, 5 points for the stolen bag is gold sometimes.
Season too.
Yeah, I think Lux is 1 for 2 off Clevenger this season. Or I could have just said he's hitting 500 off Clevenger, which would have sounded more impressive. But again, a few quid saves, and Gavin Lux. So let's get the third base and see if we are going to where we're going to depart. No, it's got to be a fork in the road somewhere. Third baseman.
I don't know. I'm going chalk here. I'm going Manny Machado from the Padres. He's 10 for 27. I'm playing him in both of my lineups, by the way. The former Dodger is 10 for 27 with 6 singles and 4 home runs versus Julio Urius. That one is also one of my favorite plays today.
So Manny Machado there at $5,400 for you. Yeah, okay. So you've spent up at third base. I've kept mine fairly middling, and I've kept with the Dodgers stack, and I've taken Justin Turner at $4,200. I did leave myself enough room if needs be. I've got $700 in the bank that I can pivot to Max Muncy, depending on starting lineups. Muncy's 4,600, but Justin Turner had a 342 September average. He was absolutely flames. I really like him. Rock solid player. But yeah, I've got the option to pivot to Muncy if I have to. So yeah, there's a first departure now. We'll complete our infield with your shortstop, Noah.
Yeah. This is the example of my punt play, like the cover boy of my punts. It's at 2.7K, Isaiah Kiner Falefa. He's 1 for 2 with a single versus Quantrill. And for me, he's just got to be a guy that fulfills a contact role for this Yankees lineup. A lot of them are just go big or go home. You got to have somebody on base causing a little bit of distraction out there. So IKF is my play at shortstop at 2.7K.
Yeah, I talked IKF quite a lot in the preseason when everyone was telling us that the Yankees had fallen a bit. Another bits and bobs player like Chris Taylor, I think he was the sort of player that the Yankees needed just to glue some stuff around. And he's had a little bit of stick for various things that he's done, but I think he's been relatively valuable for them. So you punted shortstop. I went absolutely the other end of the spectrum, and this backed my Escalade into the garage here. Trey Turner. At 5,700, averaging 9.1 fantasy points per game. You don't really need to elaborate much on what Trey Turner. He's 4 for 10 with a walk in 11 plate appearances against Clevenger. 27 steals on the season, so there's potential there, as well as that 298 average. So pretty certain that Trey Turner can get you some points on the board. We'll move into our outfield here.
Also, I'll say on the main slate, I didn't even take Trey Turner there either. I loved at 3.2K the shortstop for the Padres, Ha-Sung Kim. He's facing quite a few lefties in this series. I mean, you look at like who the Dodgers could throw. It's going to be Julio Urius. Then they're going to probably go Kershaw, and then they could even throw Tyler Anderson at him. He's a guy that has better splits against lefties than righties, and he scored 7 runs in the first 3 wildcard games. So I love him at that price for the full slate. But yeah,
I was just going to say, I think I heard a stat saying that Ha-Sung Kim had scored 7 runs, but I actually think it was you that gave me the stat yesterday. So I was about to try and impress you with your own stat there, Noah. Please you put it out. I'll tell you who you have impressed. Derby Gaming is loving the old Captain Wahoo cap in the chat. Noah's recognized. That's him. Is it Captain Chief, not Captain? I've got Captain Sino on the brain. Yeah, Chief Wahoo cap Derby Gaming CFO. So why not? That's what did I say?
I think you said Captain Wahoo, but it's the same thing. It's
Captain Chief. You know what I mean. Shut up.
Yeah, it's the native speak.
Yeah. Outfielders to come. I will briefly tell you about Fubo TV, new sponsor here for all your football watching needs. NFL Red Zone, college and pro football. No contract, no commitment. Cancel at any time. Fubo TV, free for 7 days and get 15% off your first month. FUBOTV.com/SGP. And Odds Trader, where you can compare all the promos and bonuses and then get all the best odds as well. Handicapping, live scores, the bet tracker, key game stats is all to be found at oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. Odds Trader, the number 1 site for all of your game day bets. Okay, outfielders. I think we've probably balanced out our money now. You've taken your scrub at shortstop. I've taken my big money playing Trey Turner. So, who was your first outfielder?
Going back to the Stars, and at 6.1K, the second most expensive outfielder for this slate is Mookie Betts. He's 7 for 15 with 5 singles, a double and a triple, hitting .467 against Mike Clevenger. I just think he's going to show up in the big moments here. So we're going Betts of the Los Angeles Dodgers at 6.1K.
Yeah, there's 2 players, Mookie Betts and Aaron Judge, obviously, with the 2 who were way above anyone else in the price ranges. Judge at 6.3 and Mookie Betts at 6.1. And I think for me to have a rounded team, I had to punt both of them. I couldn't take either of them. So first off, I think the next best thing out from Aaron Judge is Giancarlo Stanton.
You know. Yeah, he's got to step up right behind him. He's got to give him protection because the Guardians are probably going to try to walk Judge as much as possible. I took his over a half walk prop today too.
I mean, there's not much really in the chances of either of them stepping up and hitting a home run at any point are relatively similar, to be honest. If Stanton's fit, then there's not much difference between the two in terms of just standing there and swatting the ball out. So Stanton was 4,900, was way cheaper than Aaron Judge. So I stuck Giancarlo in. Hopefully I'll get that home run upside out to him tonight. Second outfielder, Noah.
My second outfielder, so I went 6.1K. So I have left myself with 2 cheap options, but I like both of them. I will say that Harrison Bader is going to be the first one I say. He's 2.8K of the New York Yankees. He's 3 for 3 against Quantrill in his career with a single, a double, and a home run. So I think Harrison Bader, one of my long-haired fellas, he's going to get he's going to do something on the offensive side of the ball. I like him at the bottom of that Yankees lineup to set the table for the top of it.
Yeah, I like Harrison Bader. He gets an honourable mention here as one of my possible pivots. Second up, I took Cody Bellinger, outfielder. Effectively, he was cheap. He was $3,300, and he tore up the playoffs last season. At the price, again, I had other pivots, which was either Chris Taylor, who we mentioned earlier on, at a similar price, Harrison Bader. Again, these are all if Bellinger's not starting for whatever reason. Oswaldo Cabrera, or possibly Joey Gallo, if you feel a little bit that way inclined, and think Joey Gallo could stand and swat one out. So I've got Bellinger in there. With the pivots to either, like I say, Chris Taylor or Bader or Gallo, depending on what's gone on there. So 3,300. And finally, Noah, to round up your lineup.
Yeah, so I'll mention my honorable mentions or close plays that I had listed for the full slate. I have Nicholas Castellanos at 3.4K, the outfielder for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's 5 for 9 with a 556 batting average against Max Fried with 5 singles, and he only actually has 1 strikeout. So for Castellanos, that's huge. If he's got to limit the strikeouts in general, and if there's an ace, quite literally, that he does not strike out against, I want a piece of Castellanos, as he does hit lefties really well when he's going good. I will say that. Another guy that I was close to rostering was Trace Thompson of the Dodgers, kind of like you were with you mentioned Chris Taylor. I had Chris Taylor as there as well. Trace Thompson was another cheap Dodger that I was looking at. The only concern about Thompson that I have is I don't know if he's going to get in the starting lineup. So that's why I'm going at all the way down at 2.3K, Malcolm. Do you know who I'm going at? I've preached him. So
you've preached him.
Yeah. Playoff Trent.
Playoff Trent, man. Playoff Trent.
4 for 8 with 3 RBIs, and he scored 5 runs in that series against the Mets in 3 wildcard games. The only issue is he's 0 for 7 against Urius in his career. But I do think that
is that not normal Trent you're talking about, not playoff Trent?
Exactly.
That's regular Trent.
You got to throw out his regular season batting average of 184. This guy is hitting 500 in the playoffs. So yes.
Yep.
That's my
regular Trent. Regular Trent has no sway in this competition. We're talking playoff Trent. Yes, playoff Trent's made Captain Insano's lineup. He's gone Cole Urias, the same as us. Nola Rizzo, another Gavin Lux sighting. J-Ram came, as we mentioned. Playoff Trent spent up big on Aaron Judge and Jurix and Profar as well. So I think Captain Insano.
So you knew Aaron Judge was going to pop. Up there,
and he's obviously stacked a few Padres in there to score a few runs. So my final outfielder, left myself. Like I said, I spent $3,700 on Oscar Gonzalez. I do have $700 left, like I say, for a couple of these pivots. Really, I needed to leave room, like I say, for these pivots. So it was either Oscar Gonzalez. I thought a little bit of momentum from that home run that he so beautifully pimped the other night against the Tampa Bay Rays. We loved that. Stephen Kwan was my other option in there. You either taking the home run power of Gonzalez or Stephen Kwan. Again, for the bits and bobs, he'll get on base, he'll chip away, he'll score some runs, he'll take a walk, he'll steal a base. He'll get you to 10 points by hook or by crook, where Oscar Gonzalez can do it with one swing of the bat. So Gonzalez to Kwan was my main pivot, along with Muncy to Turner. And that was me spent up. And like I say, 700 left just in case any roster realignments are needed later on.
So you're playing Gonzalez, not Kwan, or you're playing Kwan?
I'm playing Gonzalez, yeah.
Okay, I like that play. Kwan is 0 for 5 against Garrett Cole. So
yeah.
I mean, if a contact guy has 0 for 5, and what's he got? He's got 3 strikeouts against Cole in those 5 at-bats. So contact guy not really doing his job against the flame baller. I watched a piece on MLB Network, and you've talked about it a little bit, how you're dabbling with it. My guy, Mark DeRosa, he had an amazing piece on both Cal Quantrill and Garrett Cole. I'll send you a link to it, but he was talking about
yeah, please.
The fastball is going to be really effective against the Guardians, and they are the number one off-speed hitting team, but one of the worst teams against 98 and up. So I like Gonzalez for that one hit type of damage.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing we're looking for in DFS. Yeah, and that's it. No, we got to the end of that. That was nice, short and sweet, punchy.
Yeah.
Hopefully a winning lineup in there. You feeling confident?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. And guys, let us know if you liked it, first off. And if you do, let us know like what else you would like us to include. Like I could go find some ownership percentages that we can throw into this mix. And also we're looking to collab with some of the SGPN fantasy baseball guys. They have a new podcast that has just been released, and they have a few episodes out there right now. We're looking to get Blake Meyer on a couple of these DFS episodes if we continue to do it in the postseason. Just let us know if you like it, and if you do, what else you'd like us to add.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks. No, this was a good idea, and I've enjoyed it. And hopefully, at various points when everyone's available, and if the time zones allow in the game times allow, we'll try and roll out some more of these lineups and chip away, win a few quid to make some bets with. So,
sure.
Thanks if you joined us.
Did you have a card? Anything that you added? I know you added a player prop to your lock dog, right?
Well, yeah.
Anything that you wanted to say to the people?
Yeah, Munaf wasn't buying it though. Munaf. I mean, I don't want to use the word bullying, but Munaf was just kicking me around in the Slack channel earlier on. I added Travis d'Arnaud over half a RBI earlier on. Just after what I'd picked up really about how the Braves stack the right-handed batters at the top of their lineup against Ranger Suarez.
Yeah,
they'll go Acuna, Swanson. They'll drop Michael Harris down the lineup. So d'Arnaud might be in there at 5.
It's a nice play.
And with all those, I mean, again, playoff Travis d'Arnaud has been a thing. I remember last year he had run home runs in consecutive games in the World Series and cash bets for us at like plus 600, plus 700. So I was kind of looking for him. So that's really why he jumped out and caught my eye. But if he's batting 5 tonight with those guys in front of him, off Ranger Suarez, I stuck him in as well. So yeah, that was my one player prop. Even though Munaf talked me out of it, shouted me out of it.
I thought he talked you out of the Justin Verlander one.
Oh, I can't remember. It was all a whirlwind of anger from Munaf. I just got lost in it.
I thought you were on the over 17.5 outs for JV.
Yes, that was my other one. Yeah.
So I have 3 that I added since recording yesterday's podcast. As we mentioned, like the pitchers weren't confirmed and they were still throwing props out there. So I added Aaron Judge over a half walk at minus 115. I thought that was a great price. And then I looked to bash Clevenger. Clevenger has not had very good success against the Dodgers. Hold on. Let me pull up my handicap for this. Clevenger, he has had 3 starts against the Dodgers all this year in his career. He's 0-2 with a 9.69 ERA, giving up 5 runs, 5 runs, and 4 runs in those 3 games. I have him giving up over 2.5 runs at plus 140.
Okay, nice.
So I thought that was crazy. I think I'm robbing the book here. Minus 1. I think the over 33.5 should be minus 135. I guess the only thing you could be nervous about is him getting pulled early, like with runners on, and then the bullpen comes in and gets him out of the jam. But I also have him giving up over 3.5 hits, which he's given up 4 hits, 6 hits, and 7 hits in those 3 starts. That one's minus 150, so it's a little bit juicy. And then, that's it. Those are my 3 player props that I added for the day.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of enthusiasm. It was one of those days today. Everyone was firing in the chat. There was more and more bets incoming. It's almost like a like before opening day, you know, when you've got that naive enthusiasm. This time tomorrow we'll all be shells of men. We'll all be see-through and broken. But there was definitely
those last second team total wins and stuff like that.
There was a lot of confidence and enthusiasm around that we haven't had kicked out of us yet. So we'll see how we feel tomorrow. When I'll just have one bet on the over or something. Yep. But yeah, it was fun. Everything kicks off pretty soon. So let's get this show out there. Hopefully everyone picks up some winning bets and can play a lineup or 2 with some of the players we've suggested and have some fun watching that tonight. We'll be back Who knows? At some point at all points during the playoffs, we'll be back. Just keep an eye peeled. Captain Insano sleeps with one eye open, watching for us. I know that we'll be popping up. So thanks for listening. Good luck with your picks and your lineups. Until then,
he's
we'll see you down the road.
15-leg parlay. You don't have one for him, Malcolm?
I'll stick one on Twitter, Captain, or in the Discord chat for you.
There you go.
Okay, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.